Hi, can you guys hear me? Anyone? Okay, can everybody hear me or no? Yes, no. You can hear me? Am I having, there you are, yes. So you can actually hear me. Hi. Right on. Hi, welcome. I was going to do the whole thing with the music and the whole rigmarole, but I thought I would just keep it super simple because quite honestly, the more bells and whistles, the more chance I have of screwing it up. So, welcome to the A Show. I'm your host, April Hunter, and we are live. And I appreciate everybody who is here. So, normally we do a whole big intro, but my host, my other host, Big Ray Hernandez, is somewhere in South America on vacation. So this is just me doing it this week. And like I said, we'll probably just keep it super simple. And I thought it would be a great opportunity to not only let you guys know how much I appreciate you, but actually have a conversation. Because usually we're rattling off topics and, kind of boom, 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 and having commentary. So I thought it'd be a good opportunity to actually talk with you guys since nobody's across from me and we can just have the chat going. So first of all, I'm coming off of um, 3, maybe 4 Comic Cons recently and a horror convention. And I got to see quite a few of you who came out. And I just want to say thank you. It's kind of amazing to get to meet people in person and see you guys. Alex, I know you're one of them. I got to meet Bigwig at some point this year, I remember. And, Eva works with me and I've gotten to, it's really cool to be able to put a face with a name. So I wanted to say thank you for taking the time to come out. It's very cool. Notary, hi. So got to meet you in person too, obviously. So thank you for everybody who's come out to my appearances and made them a lot more fun. So Alex was the very first person, I guess, when we first started. He came out to Tampa Bay Screams a few months after we started. We started in February. And I guess Screams was, June. And Alex came out and I'd never met him before, I don't think, right? And maybe I'd seen you at Shine. But it was the first time we really had a chance to talk. And he said that he watched the show. And at that point, we were kind of just doing the weekly podcast. And we weren't sure if anybody was really listening, paying attention, or anything like that. So when Alex did that, I was just like, oh my God, you are the first person to say anything. So thank you. So that's one of those things I'll never forget. It kind of, you get those little moments that are ingrained in your head and you wonder if anybody's paying attention or if what you're saying is making a difference. So that kind of stuck with me. So in the meantime, I see we're being joined here and I wanted to say hi to Allie. Yep, I got to meet Allie up in New York. Hi to Eva. Wolf, what's up? Red Sunny, hi. Let's see, Canada Spaceman, Bigwig, Notary, War Demon, you're back with us, yay. Winona, hi. Who else is in here today? Brandon, hi. So am I missing anybody here? Gail Muffers. So thanks for joining me tonight. Cool, awesome dude. So yeah, I've never done this one by myself. This is my first time. I would like to come back to New York. I'm seeing Alex or Allie's comments. Then I'm not booked in New York anytime soon, but honestly, if you guys want me somewhere, the best bet is to ask that place or that what's going on in that area for me. So if you know of a Comic Con coming up in a few months, because you have to kind of give them a little bit of time to figure out travel and all that. But if you know there's like a convention or something coming up that you like to go to, ask for me. Like go to social media and tag me and request me, and do that over and over again because the customer's always right, so they'll pay attention once that happens. I mean, for the first time ever this year, I'll be going to WrestleCade, and I think at Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and that was because people were asking for me for like the last 2 years, so I appreciate that. And Daryl joined us. Hi. So yeah, I haven't been to Iowa in ages. It's cold there. My delicate Florida ass might not be able to handle it. So but no to Virginia. But I would like to get up there too. I used to work a bunch of different areas in Virginia, and it was one of my favorite places to go. Bigwig, you're funny. Awestruck, huh? So so Bigwig in person, how do I come off compared to like behind a screen? Because I always wonder that type of thing. I'm curious. And cool, awesome dude, thank you. As you guys know, if you throw those biddies, if you're on Twitch, we do flex those titties. So there you go. Haha. Thank you for understanding us not being here next week. Or last week, sorry. My brain, I got to tell you, I'm very, very tired. So I need a day off, and that's not going to happen anytime soon. And quite honestly, if I didn't love you guys so much and consistency wasn't a thing, I wouldn't be here right now. But I'm exhausted and pulled an all-nighter to get back from North Carolina the other day, went right into working yesterday, had a shoot today, and I'm coming from my shoot right now to do this. So, but yeah, it was nice to get the hell out of Dodge for 4th of July because Florida's kind of like a war zone. There's not just the big fireworks, but we have all this stuff in everybody's backyard. So packed up the dogs, headed north with my cousin, and kind of, dealt with a very much of a lesser version of that. And it was a lot less stressful. So thank you for understanding the time off. Appreciate that. Oh, Winona, I'm sorry. So yeah, I'm sorry about your aunt's passing. That's awful. Just seems like, it's funny. It seems like this is something I think we don't realize yet we do. It seems like we're all like everybody across the board now is dealing with some kind of loss or mourning. And there's a saying, and it's hurt people hurt people. So they always say when someone's nasty to you or mean to you or rude in traffic or just generally an asshole, that person's hurting a lot and that we should be patient with them, which is really hard to do because, when someone doesn't treat you with respect, it's very easy to come back at them and give them the equal amount of energy they have put into you. But it does seem across the board that a lot of people, I would say that probably the overwhelming majority to some degree or another right now are they're dealing with some kind of mourning or loss, whether it's a family member, a friend, or a loss of a business or a job or opportunities. And it's something I think that we really kind of have to keep in mind and be patient with people. So, when people are struggling with that or lashing out, that's just something to bear in mind and be a little bit more patient with them over that. And Canada Spaceman says, who do I contact to put Big Ray on the no-fly list? He doesn't have to. Yeah, I think it's too late. He already left. He went. So he's sunning his toes right now. So hopefully he's having a wonderful time with his wife. Alex says, that person has a hell of a way to show their hurt by doing negative things to other people. Yeah, it's funny how that happens, it really is. And Chuck joined us. Hola, what's up? ¿Cómo estás? So I don't know. What do you guys want to talk about tonight? Oh, yes, yes, yes. War Demon very generously spent his time putting together a Discord for this show. Thank you, War Demon. So if you guys are on Discord or would like to, add yourself to that, there is the URL in the chat. I know it's taken 4 years, right? We've been asking about Discord forever. And finally, we have one now. So thanks very much, Chris. We appreciate you. So, mwah. Should I leave that up? Yeah, I was pretty stoked for that. Yeah, Bigwig says Steel Magnolia. Sally Field was screaming about how she wanted to hurt something because she was hurt. Do you know? I haven't seen that movie, but I've heard amazing things about it. Kenny says, I'm dealing with my mom going downhill. She's near end renal failure. Have nobody to lean on, no siblings, just mom and me since my grandma passed in 2020. Yeah, that's so, you have my complete and utter empathy. You really do. And something you need to think about, Kenny, is making sure that you're taking care of yourself too. Because it's really, really hard to put yourself first in those situations. And when you're taking care of someone, you tend to just hover around them and make sure they're taken care of. And then you forget to eat right. You forget to go outside for a walk. You forget to do any of the things that you need to do to be at your best version so you can take care of them. And I think one of the things that's so hard about taking care of somebody in that situation, correct me if I'm wrong, is, and this is especially if you are a fixer. Like, I'm a fixer. When people tell me their problems, I'm annoying. I don't want to just listen. I want to reach in and say, well, what if you tried this? What about trying this? Have you tried this? Like, I want to find a solution, right? But when you're taking care of somebody who is in a situation where you can't fix it, it makes you feel so helpless. And I don't know, just it's hard. It's really, really hard. I've been through that myself, and it's extra important to make sure you take care of yourself because you're dealing with so much physically and mentally with that. So, just bear that in mind. And yeah, see, it says you neglect your, okay. Yep, I totally understand. For those listening, it says, thank you very much. I struggle with that completely. I neglect myself and have my own health issues, nerve damage. Yes, I always have to fix things and feel like never complete in helping. Yeah, that could be a whole podcast unto itself, quite honestly. But do make sure you put the oxygen mask over your face, first, because you do have to keep yourself strong. What happens to her if you go under, so you have to make sure you're okay. So Joshua White says, would you ever come back to pro wrestling? I'm not gonna say 100%, but I'm gonna say like 99% no. And there's a reason for it. This is gonna sound terrible, and screw it, and I'm just gonna be honest. I never was in love with it. So you kind of, it's a very hard sport. And it is an athletic sport, but it's also very, very political. And that's why so many people get out of wrestling and get into politics and do quite well, because what you're put through back there, they get you ready for it. But I never was in love with it, and you have to be to stay in it for a long time and kind of really want to be there. And that was not me. I was in love with martial arts and mixed martial arts, taekwondo, all of that. But pro wrestling was not my love. I keep a big toe in there in that water because I like doing the appearances and I love the fans. Most of them. Some of the fans are not very nice, but I love being able to get back and see the fans sometimes. So if I can keep one toe in that water so I get a chance to still see everybody, I'm happy with that. And I'll still do the customs every once in a while. So it's probably not the answer you wanted, but it's the honest answer. So sorry about that. Let me see what other questions we got here. Wolf, thank you. Yeah, I said you put a word in for me at WrestleCade every year and finally you did. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So I'm stoked to be there. I really, really am. And I'm going to say this name wrong. Game Man. So, oh, Aaron. Oh, hi. How are you doing? Tampa Bay Screams. Right on. That was a fun show. So thank you for being on here. So like I said, this is not our normal show. We normally don't just sit here and chat. We have a whole plan, a whole thing. It's like an hour and a half show. We have subjects and things like that. Tonight's just an easy one that we're doing. Winona says, that's what happened with my mom before she passed. She died. My dad and I both knew we couldn't fix her, so we did the best we could in the situation. Yeah, it's honestly, it gets my mom. Okay, so my mom and grandmom. My grandmother and mother died within 6 months of each other in 2012, and they were all I had left. And I was the one that went back to take care of them. And it was the best and worst time of my life. And it was extremely difficult because my grandmother had dementia and my mom had cancer. And my mom was a morning person and my grandmother was a night person. So I think maybe I was running on, 18 minutes of sleep a day for a year and a half. But it was extraordinarily rewarding to be able to have that time with them. And after I went through the whole thing of feeling very helpless and frustrated and weak to not be able to help them at all, I finally just sort of accepted it and tried to get all the best time out of it as possible. Like sit there and play board games, watch movies, comedy movies, of course, cook good meals, and just, enjoy the quality time that we're given. And that's basically what I ended up doing. And in hindsight, now that is 14, almost 13 and a half years ago, I'm glad I had that time with them. I'm glad that I had the chance to have the quality time with them instead of fighting it all the way through. So, yeah, I don't know if that's what you're doing or helpful to you, but just do make sure you're taking care of yourself. And Allie says, so you like pro wrestling as a hobby, but not a career. Let me think about that. Well, it's definitely more than a hobby. That's for sure. I was going to say, I still, it's, I think it's like the military. Once you're military, you're always military. Once you're a wrestler, you're always a wrestler. So it's my former career, I guess. So I would say it's that way because you're either in or you're not with wrestling, I think. So there's that. Red Sunny. How about you and me for a match? Are you sure you want to do that? Are you sure? I mean, I could probably punch you in the face with my boobs. So, and Alex said, would you come back to mainstream modeling? Well, I doubt it because I'm older now. So I think that, never say never with things because obviously the world is changing. It's never been a better time to get older. Like now you can do whatever you want. You can wear whatever you want. You can age however you want. You can gain weight or not gain weight, and no one is allowed to say anything. So I have perfect timing to you know, as far as that. And I don't know what the market is going to be for women, but typically the way I came up is that I was aged out of the business like 18 years ago. And every time I do a shoot, I'm actually still surprised that a photographer or an agent is like, "Hey, can you do this?" I'm like, "Sure, okay, yeah." Because you know, I'm ready at any time to like hang everything up, but I'm still keeping half my closet full of modeling gear just in case. So you never know. I still love it. I've always been in love with that and in love with the cosplay angle. That's always been a big, deep love. So I don't think I'll ever grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid. Yeah, so there's that. So um Bigwig says, "Oh yeah, I've told my son the day I can't wipe my ass, it's time to go." Yeah, right. There's a there's definitely got to be that thing. Like when I get to this point, just give me a lot of drugs and pull the tube. Yeah, for sure. Yes. So for those of you joining late, we finally have a Discord. One of our wonderful and original viewers, been here since day one, War Demon. So Chris set us up a Discord 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago, the week before 4th of July. So that URL is in the chat here. And if you want to join it, yay, thank you very much. We appreciate it. So I'm going through the chats here. I'm not caught up. I'm trying to. I'm going like yes, we have a Discord. War Demon, will you add that again? Like so I can put it back up for the new people that joined us late. And yeah, if you guys have anything you want to talk about specifically, you can. We I'm all yours for the time being that I'm here. So yeah, there's actually a lot of Tampa people here. Saw somebody say something about Tampa, myself included. Yes, Eva and Game Man. I think you guys both met at the convention, at the horror convention. So Eva was at the table with me. So, and thank you, Kenny. I appreciate that very, very much. So you guys are very, very sweet. So, so Daryl asked, what about Playboy? Would you ever do that again if they asked? By the way, that's where I first found out who you are. Yes. I would absolutely do Playboy again. Ironically, you would think that they would pay better, but if you're not a playmate, the pay is not that great. So, but it's still, you can still get a lot of prestige and a lot of, everybody sees it. So Playboy was basically put me on the map to some degree. So yeah. Oh yeah. Look, I forget. I probably should brag about some of the things that I've done a lot more. Somebody was telling me that they're like, people forget that you've done this and done that and worked with Boris Vallejo and done Playboy and worked with all these people. I'm like, because I don't really talk about it. I tend to, whatever was in the past, I just like whatever that and then try and move forward. But let's see. Yeah, I did a lot. Actually, I did a lot of photo shoots with Tylene Buck. So we did quite a few. And I do have an OnlyFans. And there's a story behind that, actually. Yeah, it's OnlyFans April Hunter, and I hate it. So I'm like an OnlyFans failure. I have a Patreon as well. It's Patreon April Hunter. That one I love. And there's a reason for all of this. I opened OnlyFans during the quarantine. So across the board, we had a bunch of, I had Comic Cons and horror cons and all these things. I had Wrestle, not WrestleKid, the other one, the big one. WrestleMania was in Tampa that year. And that other big wrestling convention, I was booked on that too. So all these things across the board, it got canceled. Everything, all my appearances done. And all the stuff I normally fly out to, done. Everything's just done. So somebody's like, you should have a OnlyFans. I'm like, oh, Christ almighty, on a bike, But ultimately I realized that to try and recoup some of the financial loss and stay in touch with fans, it might not be a bad idea. So I opened an OnlyFans, and that's why I have it. And it's probably the site that I like. There's some things I like about that page, but there's a lot that I don't. And the fact that it's always been geared mostly towards porn makes it really difficult for somebody like myself who has not gone that route, because the people in there are used to a certain aspect. So they keep asking for more, 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 more all the time. And it's just like, no, 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 fuck no. So I feel like that's what I'm doing, this no dance over there all the time. It's just, it's just not my thing. But over on Patreon, where, Patreon can be kind of anything you want it to be. Cheap plug, patreon.com/April Hunter. That I can run like an entire fan club. So I have everything on there. I have the behind the scenes stuff. I have all my, physique and cosplay stuff. My, I have my undressed things. I have my dressed things. I have my writing. I have my comic book stuff. So I have, even the candle making and soap making stuff. So everything's over there. So, and a lot of it's on aprilhunter.net too, my own website, which I need to figure out a webmaster or find some, figure out how to run that, because my own webmaster is moving on at the end of this month. So that's my next thing I have to figure out. Either, that's something else I got to sit down and do. So I need a foot massage and a break. So I do. Anyway, so yeah, that's what's going on. Yes, Tylene Buck. I haven't seen her in ages. So thank you, War Demon. I appreciate that very, very much. So I'm trying to catch up I'm talking, so I'm not reading. So now I'm trying to read. Oh my God, yes. Been friends so long, I remember the paper newsletter. You guys, I used to do a paper newsletter. So when I started, so my whole thing is promotion and marketing. That's kind of one of my fortes. And I had what were they called back there? A word processor? I had a word processor. I'm really showing my age, huh? I had a word processor, and I would write a paper newsletter. And when I was a burlesque dancer. So I would go on tour, and I would ask people, do you want to be part of it on my newsletter? And people would give me their actual address, and I would mail them out a newsletter every month, every other month, I think. So I would write this newsletter, go to like not Home Depot, go to like a copy place, like Office Depot, and copy it off front, back, second page, whatever, fold it up, put it in the thing, and send this paper newsletter out to everybody. So I'm stuffing envelopes, mailing them out. So I'd put the pictures in there. This is the photo she said, this is behind the scene pictures. I was kind of every month. So yeah. So, and then we moved to the newsletter through the website. We switched everybody to email. And then that one webmaster I had before this one screwed it all up. So, and then we switched everybody over to the podcast. So here we are. Alex is asking if I ever met Trish Stratus. Yes, I have. Multiple times. I worked with her in fitness and wrestling as well. So she is a very nice person. So Disco L Gemstone, you ready for Biden's replacement since half the party is ready to replace him? Okay, so here's a funny thing about that. Yeah, yep. Chris, I met Lita too. Yeah, I worked with her too. I posted this in 2020. I think, well, a lot of you know this. Newer people might not, who haven't been following me, but a lot of people know that I get, it's a weird thing. It's even hard. It's hard to explain this, right? It's going to sound crazy. I get visions They come from, I don't know where, but I see things or I know things and they come to me suddenly and I get a picture. I can see things and I can pick up patterns and I know where stuff's going. And between those two things, I see things before they happen. I don't know what that is. I've I've had it since I was a kid. I've known things were going to happen beforehand. You would think I would have done better in my love life, but no. But about everything else around me, I've managed to see ahead of time with a lot of things. So on that whole Biden thing, I predicted, I'm going to show you. I don't know if you can see this, or if you're on my Facebook page, you can. This is from 2020. Why is my screen so cloudy? So I'll read it to you. It says April 14th, 2020. Prediction. Kamala Harris will be the vice presidential running mate, and she will eventually be the first female president. Of course, people were very upset over that. And I said, I'm not saying it's a good or a bad thing. I'm just delivering the news. That's what's going to happen. And I reposted it today. I said, let's see how this plays out. My predictions have often been spot on, but let's see how it plays out. Don't know. But that was over 4 years ago that I got that vision. And what I do, because people think I'm crazy, is I will post them on, Facebook or somewhere where they're dated. And that way I can keep track of them and say, okay, I did call that one. Okay, I knew this was going to happen. So I can keep a dated version of everything. Yeah, Laurie knows. Thank you, Daryl. Yeah, she knows. A lot of my friends, my close friends know. So when I tell them something, they take it seriously. Thankfully, it sounds weird coming out of my mouth to say, hey, I got weird visions and I know how this is going to go. I can tell if somebody's, especially pets too. I can tell if people or pets are sick or dying. Or how, approximately how much time they have left. That's a really, really weird thing. Like I said, I know it sounds weird coming out of my mouth. I understand that it sounds fucking crazy, but I have a really strange accuracy rate with that too. When someone's going to die, a pet's going to die, or conversely, if somebody thinks they need to put their pet down. This happened once. I had a friend that wanted to put their pet down because they thought it was time because she was older. And I looked at her, I said, it's not time. She's just having an allergic reaction. He's like, no, I think I got to call the vet and put her down. I'm like, she's nowhere near her time. I think the medication that you've given her is giving her this reaction. I would look into that. So it ended up being an allergic reaction to the medication. But there's that. There's a theory. You want to hear this theory that I was just reading about the other day, and to me this makes sense. But again, it's just a theory. And it's not meant to like upset anybody or anything. It's just another theory out there. And it's that we humans haven't necessarily evolved like Darwinism. Like that's not actually a thing, but we have actually devolved. So at one point, we were from a much higher place, and we came from a consciousness where everyone, that whole third eye, everyone could sense things and feel things and be in tune with each other. And then gradually, as we went along in time, we have, both mentally clouded up our minds with all the stuff going on, the busyness and the noise and the lack of silence and the screens and all that. And we've also cluttered up our bodies with all the toxicity around our food and environment, to where we have gradually lost with every, generation or three, we've lost that connection that we used to have. So rather than evolving like they thought, like Darwin, we have actually devolved down to where we are now. So I don't know if it's true or not, but that one kind of resonates with me a little bit. How about you? And hello, Fred Palm Coast. What's up? How are you? Yeah, I mean, allegedly, there's some other science out there that says humans have been around for 250,000 years. We're just it's hard to get some of these studies published, but archaeologists and anthropologists have found proof of humanity way back. So you just have to dig deep for that type of thing. It's very interesting. Yeah, I mean, JC too, if you can devolve as a society, we can devolve as human beings too, right? So thank you, cool, awesome dude. I mean, this could be a thing. I mean, we wear Crocs, right? Fun fact, did you know that Crocs were put into Idiocracy as the shoes of the future because they were so ugly at the time. Well, they still kind of are. They were so ugly that they thought nobody would ever wear that shoe. So they used them as the shoe of the future in that movie. So now I have tried on a pair of Crocs before and they are comfortable, but I'm not going to wear them. So at least I say that. Things could change in the future. You never know. We're also, if I'm devolving, I might wear Crocs. I'm just saying that for right now. Things could change. Winona says, from what I've seen, people who are really artsy on the spectrum or have any disability for that matter tend not to use that divine consciousness. Yes, I will agree with that. Madness Comic Network. What's up? And Scar 111. Hello. Yeah, it's funny. I always used to think that the same chemicals that make you crazy are the same ones that make you creative. So the chemicals that make you, I'm bipolar, so I'm medicated and stable. But I've noticed that when you stabilize too much, you lose your creativity. So there's a very fine line of tuning the medication so that you don't get to the point where you can't, basically perform or write or draw or paint or whatever it is that your medium is, which is all of that is mine. So you have to kind of be careful with that. And Pops Fan San. Okay, now I'm putting the face, the name in the face. Got it. Thank you. So yeah, so I think that you're right. And a lot of the spectrum and all the people who are touched, I agree with that. So hello to all the people joining us late. What's up? I'm gonna go back and look at your you'll hide my medications before I cook. So Crocs are for water activities. Okay, I can understand that. That's fair. I live in Florida, so people wear like Crocs with socks. And they wear socks and sandals. When did that become a thing? Socks and sandals. It's so bad. Ugh. You don't wear socks and sandals. Wolf says I used to have those weird visions years ago. Now it's just PTSD. So, well, that's actually something to well, yeah, you're military, so I wonder sometimes if some of the mental health issues we've had throughout the generations, and this again might sound crazy, but maybe some of the mental health issues that we've had at times haven't always been mental health issues. Maybe they have been perception. All right, for example, your kid, right? You have a kid or a teenager who is seeing things, hearing things. People think it's schizophrenia. But what if it's not? What if this child is actually able to channel and be a medium, and they are able to speak to or see consciousness or spirits or things that we are not able to see or speak to? So I wonder, in the history of humanity, how many times science and medicine has screwed up and screwed people up and misdiagnosed something or missed something, because there's so much in the realm of psychic and perception and ESP and consciousness and all of this that we don't know about yet. And science has a tendency to go, oh, well, we can't prove it, so it's bullshit. Or, medical community is like, well, we can't, we don't have a pill for it, so we're debunking it. So we're so quick to say that, when it's something, instead of giving it pause or saying, well, we don't know yet. We don't know yet. Why do psychedelics like mushrooms make people see God? Why do they make people feel like they're coming together and everything is one? Why do people generally have a good experience on that, to where it almost changes their life, like ayahuasca? So, and by the way, if you're in and why does that last? Like, if you're on mushrooms, if you do a dose of mushrooms, more than a small dose, if you do a regular dose of mushrooms, sometimes that can stabilize your mental health for 5 to 7 days afterwards. Why does that happen? And of course, does the pharma companies don't want that. They don't want that. And when you do the microdoses, that can stabilize your mental health too. And I'm not saying anything out of my ass. I mean, this is stuff that's you can look it up in a Psychology Today. It's all they do. They do the they do the tests. The psychedelics have had a 100% success rate with mental health, with depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder, so, but they're not pushing that. They're pushing experimental drugs that are pharmaceuticals. Yeah. What Morbid Demon says. So if they can't control it, it doesn't exist. Mm-hmm. And you can go out and pick a mushroom out where the cows are. So maybe that's why they want to get rid of the cows. Well, control the food supply and not let us trip. So, Elliot says Kenny says ET connected with Elliot through telepathy and he had telekinesis. Maybe he switched that on and it's dormant in all of us. I think you could be onto something. I honestly think that every one of us has the ability to predict and see and know and connect. And here's why. Like, all of us have biceps, right? We all have biceps. But some people have biceps because they work them and they train them. And I think that, having ESP or some kind of these types of, third eye, being able to see, that's the same way. You have to work that to get it stronger. That's why they always say meditate and take some time, get off the screens and things like that. Because when your brain is constantly busy all the time, you're not allowing it to recuperate. I think kids are more open than adults, just naturally. But how many times have you thought of somebody randomly that you hadn't thought of in a while? And then they reach out to you. Like, they send you a text or an email or something. And it's like string theory, like you're connected, quantum physics. So whether we admit it or not, and I know that a lot of people don't want to think this, but I believe it's really true that we are really, really, really all connected. If you sit there and you work at it and you try to contact somebody who is open to receiving that type of thing, I'll bet you could do it, and I'll bet you they would get back to you in some way or not. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Just my crazy thoughts. So, and thank you, Raphael. There, my biceps aren't what they used to be because I went to school and didn't work out as much, but they're still kind of there. So, yes, kind of spaceman. You're funny. When I think of someone and the phone rings, it's them. I know they are the devil. Okay, fair enough. What else are we talking about here? Yeah, I think everyone, honestly, I think everyone's got a gift. Everyone has some kind of gift or power. Everyone has a purpose. So thank you, JC2. Everyone has a purpose. Just sometimes people don't know what their purpose is. Sometimes people don't know what their gift is. So I think the purpose really of your life is to find out what your purpose is, what your gift is, and then give that away. Make that work for you. So, Wade says it's like the movie Onward. We have power and we have magic, and that has been taken away from us. Or, yeah, basically. Have you guys all seen that movie Onward? So, in case you haven't, I think it's on the Disney Channel, right? So it's a bunch of it's a bunch of magical beings like fairies and unicorns and all these amazing magical beings who are walking around now. They don't fly. They don't do anything that they're supposed to do because they have devolved to the point where they don't even believe that they used to fly. So they don't believe that they used to be able to leap. They think that's a conspiracy theory. So they have, and there's one guy, he's like, we used to be able to fly. And they're like, no, we didn't. And it's like, yes, we did. I can prove it. So he goes on a quest to prove that the magic still exists and they could get it back. So it's a very cool. I think I'm saying that right. So I think we all have that in us. If we want to work on it, you just make time to work on it. It's like anything else. Nobody has time. You have to make time. So you got to make time to cook a meal. You got to make time to spend with your kids. You got to make time to read, make time to take a lesson or learn Spanish by it. And got to all learn Spanish. Make time to work on this or 3 minutes a day to meditate. Just make the time. If it's important to you, you'll make the time. So I always hate when people are like, I don't have time. I don't have time. You mean you didn't make the time? So we all have 24 hours in a day. It's how you use it, right? So some people use that time better than other people. So, and that's how we're all equal. 24 hours in a day. How are you going to use those 24 hours? So there you go. Yes, time management. Wolf says, if you ever bump into random people and say, excuse me, and they don't respond, most likely they're definitely background characters and aren't meant to speak. Yeah, NPCs. So, and somebody did that to me the other day, right? They didn't hold the door. They dropped the door in my face. So I walked to the door. I said, thank you. And I just kept going. And the guy, he's on his phone. And then he looked back and he's like he didn't even realize there was a person in, his vicinity. There's a lot of people that kind of just walk around and they're so clueless about what's going on. Honestly, if I was a bad person, oh man, I wish I was sometimes. If I was a bad person, I would have a field day right now because it would be so easy to rob people. I mean, so easy. There's so many people that are just not physically aware. They don't have that awareness about them at all. It's so easy right now to take someone's bag, take their wallet, take their keys, take their phone. I mean, they're just like not even, maybe not their phone because they're always on it, but take anything that they have going on, anything, because they're living in a little bubble like this. Everything's like this. With the earbuds on, they don't even know what's around them. You could just gut them, basically. And it's amazing to me how people feel okay to just Not even like, are you going to be hit by a car, a bicycle? Like, just what? They're deliberately making the senses they do have dull. Like they're not listening, they're not watching. See, this is how we devolve. First, we lose this one, then we lose this, and we lose this. So pretty soon we're going to be at a point where we're like a blob. Nuts. So, Scar, I can't show you my abs and my legs because I'm wearing a dress today. So, out of luck. Sorry. So, came right from a shoot. So, Cheng Fu, hang on. He says, do you believe you control your actions, or do you believe the mind controls things as well? That's a really good question. So, and hi, Steve. Welcome, welcome. That's a really good question. So, there's two trains of thought, right? And I think this is what you're getting at. Like, do you believe everything is meant to be? So there's, God's plan, and it's all going to unfold a certain way because it's fated, as the Vikings would say. Or do you believe that we have free will and we can decide? This is something I think about a lot. Can you have it both ways? I don't know. What do you guys think? I think I liken that to when you go to a card reader, like a tarot card reader, right? Or a fortune teller, and they tell you something, maybe you don't want to hear. So, but now you have the knowledge. Knowledge is power. So maybe this is what's coming up in the future. If you believe in this, if this person has some kind of credibility, if your friends have gone to this person before and the things have come to fruition that this person has said. So now you're kind of paying attention to what this person's saying, and they're saying in the future, if you don't do this, you're going to deal with some financial problems. You should consider this. You should think about that. So do you believe that this is all going to unfold because it's meant to be that way? Or now that you have the knowledge, you have the power, so you can make it unfold according to your will. And then you don't have to be at the mercy of the fates. So I kind of think that. So, and Bigwig says, I'm surprised that pickpockets have not increased. They might have. It's just that people still don't know that the pockets were picked. I don't know. Alex is saying, would you consider a psychic someone with heightened intuition and awareness? They definitely have that, I think. Yeah. They probably have some other things too, but they definitely have, heightened intuition and awareness for sure. Yeah. Yeah, and JC2 says then eventually they lose all common sense. Well, if you think about it, the word's common sense. You're losing your senses, but you're not even losing them. You're giving them up, right? So there are people who are born deaf. There are people who are born blind, who would give a lot to have their senses back, perhaps. And then there's us, and we just willingly hand them over. We let them be hijacked, right? It's something to think about. How many times have you put the earbuds in and gone out in public and just blocked everything out and not really been present, or just not even looked around where you are? That's something. So, Allie says, when I was a kid, I would play on my Game Boy outside a lot. I was a nerd. Nowadays, everyone else is basically doing the same thing with smartphones. Irony at its finest. Yeah, I would read. I was a big reader. So I remember sitting in the back of the car. For some reason, it didn't make me nauseous. And I would read while we were going up and down 95, from Philadelphia to Alabama or Florida. And the miles would go by and the states would go by, and I wasn't even looking out the window. So I was lost in a book. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but, my parents would joke around and say she could read War and Peace in 2 days. But it was my escape, quite honestly. I didn't want to be around my parents. They sucked at the time. So they were fighting and it wasn't fun. So that was where I was. So it helped keep me sane. Let's see. Cheng says the theory on humanoid robots. Do you think they will be able to surpass us normal humans? Again, you got some good questions. That's a really good question. You mean that's you know, I don't see why they wouldn't be able to. And here's why. The AI is learning from us, right? In case you're not aware, Facebook is opening everything up to AI so that they can learn from how we converse. You can opt out of it, but it's really difficult to figure out how to do that. So I don't know if that's already happened or it's happening. That was one of the topics we were going to talk about on the show, I don't know, a couple of months ago, and we didn't have time to do it. So there you go. So when you are allowing AI to learn from humans, and then humans ourselves tend to kind of be, no, I don't want to sound negative, but we're devolving somewhat while humanoids, robots and AI is evolving. So at what point are we going to end up like this? So it's something that we should probably be aware of. And I'm sure there's a million people out there that are like, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist. But I don't know if I'm a conspiracy theorist so much as I'm just paying attention to what's going on and doing the math. So there are many, many, many corporations that have a vested financial interest in the race to AI and robots. And we have come leaps and bounds in just the last decade. So why wouldn't it surpass us? It's a very exciting time to be alive. So there's a lot going on. We are quite, quite lucky to be alive this time. All right, let's see what else we got here. And I won't keep you guys too late. Oh, here's our Discord here. So if you guys, it's in the chat. Okay. Wade says quantum physics and all the choices are going on at the same time. It's up to you to choose which direction you want to go. The universe or God will compensate. Kenny says, I don't fuck with tarot cards. Only psychic I liked was the one with the third nipple and mall rats. Let's see. Let's see. What else we got here? All right. Well, thank you for putting all that up. And thanks to everybody joining the new Discord there. Chowny Man, welcome. What's up? I feel like I'm going to miss some comments here. CS Almanac High says the thing about Game Boys is they were used as a holdover until we got from point A to point B. Now the Game Boy is the point A. No one ever puts it down to do other stuff. Oh, man, that's really accurate, isn't it? So, yeah, you're right. I didn't think about that, but you're right. Remember Merlin? Merlin was one of the original weird little toys that came before the Game Boy. Switching gears here, the main man says, which female wrestlers and or managers do you wish to do a pec flex duel with? Really nobody in wrestling, but the guy from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, definitely him. I forget his name. The Holt, right? Not Holt, Captain Holt, the other guy. Help me out here. You guys know who I'm talking about, right? Terry Crews. Yes, that's who I want to do a pec flex with. Thank you. It's Terry Crews going to do what Terry Crews is going to do. So yeah, that's my man to do a pec flex with. And I know he'll probably beat me, but it's okay. Then I'll have been beaten by Terry Crews, and it's all right. So I don't think anybody else could touch me, really. I mean, quite honestly, I'm good at this. So, yes, I officially invite Terry Crews. Wade says I'll make a call. I know. Do you want to do a pec flex thing? Let's do it. So, yep, that's I'll officially put it out there. Terry Crews, please, let's do a pec flex competition. Winner gets peanut butter cups. I don't know. So there you go. Canada Spaceman is saying, now you have me thinking of sex robots. I guess we can personalize orders and make them look like April. Oh man. It's funny. I think we did a story, or I did a story, gosh, back, I think I wrote about this, or we talked about this back in like 2017. They were making very realistic looking sex robots. And it's very controversial. Of course, everybody was, doomsday predictions with it, like, oh, this is horrible. It's going to stop humanity. And they're, making very beautiful robots that look like, top end, vivid porn stars at the time. And then the question was, they wanted to do sex cafes where they could mimic all kinds of different fetishes. This was, in Asia somewhere. Of course, they're always more cutting edge than we are, Europe and Asia. And a lot of people were up in arms about that, because they were talking about doing that with questionable age, shall we say, of the under the legal age types with sex robots. And it really upset people on that one too. And it made me think, with dolls, not exactly dolls, sex robots. So it made me wonder, I try and think of everything kind of open-minded. It made me wonder that if you have the option to do things with a sex robot, would you get it out of your system? Not you, but would somebody have that kind of outlet, or where it's almost therapeutic, instead of wanting to do that in humanity, in a human population. So, I don't know. I guess, yeah, living out their fantasy, not unlike video games, where because they said video games would, rot your mind and make everybody be violent. Where in reality, I think video games actually thwarts a lot of violence. It lets people get their frustrations out. So, and a lot of it actually improves hand-eye coordination too. The next generation war is going to be fought where they're looking at the high scores for all the young people, or all the people out there playing those games, because that's going to be the drone flyers. So they're going to be looking for them, and they're going to recruit them. Ready Player One. So anyway, yeah, I think that when you also have people out there that have a hard time connecting with others for whatever reason. They might be socially awkward. They might be, they might have mental health issues. They might be, somewhere on that situation. They might be deeply distrustful of people, or, that they've been screwed over so many times. That might be the kind of person where a sex doll would come in handy, one that actually provides comfort and conversation. I don't know. So before we're so quick to knee-jerk react to something like this, no, I don't think anything is in black and white. Fire can warm you, fire can burn you. So social media can connect you with your friends. Social media can allow terrible things to come through and make you depressed and upset. So it's really up to us. So we have to learn the discipline and how to meter things. Ice cream can, cheer you up and be part of your birthday, or it can give you a fat ass in the not good way. So it's we make those choices. So and yeah. Big Wiz says if I had a sex doll, it'd be because she didn't run her mouth. Hey, I'll have you know that sometimes guys talk as much as women. Sometimes. So that said, I won't keep you guys too much longer. We've been here an hour, and we'll keep it shorter today. But I just wanted to let you know, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. I want to say thank you for coming out. Like I said in the beginning, I don't know if you guys caught this, but I just came off of I think 4 different conventions, like back to back to back to back. And I got to see a whole lot of, people that were local here or from Florida area. And I'm very grateful. It was very, very nice to put, names and faces together. And I appreciate people that take the time to come out. I'm super grateful to that. And I hope to see more of you in the future at my appearances. And I wanted to let you know I am grateful for all of you guys. So, if you're following me on my YouTube channel, which I'm trying to build back up again, that's youtube.com April Hunter. If you would give me a follow on there, that would be tremendously helpful. So yeah. And if you would, if you're following me on social media, I appreciate it. If you're on my Patreon, that's patreon.com April Hunter. I am grateful. If you're on my sites, if you're supporting me, you're here, thank you. I really couldn't do this without you, and I appreciate you. And I mean that. I probably don't say that enough, but I mean that very, very, very much. So thank you. And Scar is saying, show the hand muscles. Really? The hand muscles? Like that's a thing? I got big hands. You know what I'll show you? Actually, if you want. Hang on. Let me flip through real quick. I'm going to see. I had a shoot earlier today. Let me see if I can find any acceptable pictures. I can give you a quick sneak peek from earlier today, because we did do a lot for Patreon. So they are, over 18, a lot of them, but I do have a couple I'll show you. So there's one, and let's see what else we got. We're sideways on that one. There. There's some booty there. Let's see. Double trouble. So let's see. Yep, those are naked. Nope, too naked. Kind of naked. Okay. That one. Let's see, what else we got? Share. Oh yeah, this one was fun. We did also a mermaid shoot. So we get first peek. So there's some of what we did earlier today. So nobody's seen any of that except for, one other person. So now you're the other person, the second group that gets to see it. I saw one other comment there. Hang on. Cheng Fu. Where did it go? Today's younger generation has no true drive or spirit. It's like a blank canvas. They can be driven in any direction and easily influenced by the most backwards of notions. Believe it to be truth. Okay. So, and thank you, Steve. Okay, so I've theories and thoughts on that. So, and it's a bigger, broader thing. So every generation has said that the generation after them is lazy and lacks drive and dedication. So I think that's something that's kind of just ingrained. And I think there's a very, very heavy divide and conquer agenda in this country, where they're using anything they can to keep us at each other, whether that's race, gender, nationality, even, generation. So we never really think about this for a second. How long have we heard this over, we heard boomers, Gen X, millennials, Gen Z. How long has that been going on? Only for a couple of years, right? Before that, We knew that they were the boomer generation, but we didn't really pay attention to all this other stuff. And then all of a sudden became very prevalent, these labels, all these labels. So they use these labels to really just kind of turn us against each other. So my theory is they're using this generational thing to do that as well. The boomers, they screwed it up for everybody. Gen X always wants attention. Millennials are inept at pretty much everything. Gen Z is lazy and can't do shit. So, and then they put something, they dehumanize with that label. And the whole name, the name of the game is to dehumanize that group of people with that label and to feel, to make people feel special and superior, right? And I think it's a really, really prevalent thing in our society that is getting completely out of hand. I mean, it's bad. And I think it's become so normalized we don't even realize it. So while I might not completely disagree with you, Cheng Fu, because I think the younger generation, there's more to it than that. They have been through a lot, like a lot. I mean, look at all this. I mean, just the past 4 years. 4 years is a lot of time in a young person's life. Think about that's 10 to 14, 14 to 18, 12 to, I mean, it's a long time. And they went through all that COVID bullshit, all that stuff, and the social anxiety and all that stuff. That's a significant amount of time for somebody who's growing up. And if it's messed us up and messed up our mentality and how we see the world and how we see things, and it's messed us up as in regards to being parents and grandparents, imagine what it's done to them and how they feel with the lack of security and seeing their parents freak out, like losing jobs and losing their businesses and not sure what's going on, and the deflation that's happening, the inflation, and now there's war starting. And the whole point right now, and if you watch the show on a regular basis, it's not like this. We talk about what's going on. The whole point right now is to destabilize globally. And they've done a wonderful job destabilizing the United States. That's what they're trying to do. That's what they want to do. So they're going to destabilize in every possible way, financially, fiscally, financially, fiscally, mentally. We're dealing with basically a psyop war that's been going on for a while to fuck with us mentally. And I don't think a lot of people realize how long this has actually been happening. And dehumanizing groups of people has just been part of it. So we have to kind of be aware of that, whether it's, we've got people on constant fight or flight. So first, anti-vaxxers, they don't deserve anything. Trans people, they don't deserve anything. Black people, they don't deserve anything. White males, they don't deserve anything. You see, there's these groups of people that they're trying to, the Mexicans, they don't deserve. So there's these problems. They create these groups of people, label them as problems. They are the cause of everything in society, allegedly, because the media is only owned by 5 companies, and the same 5 companies are partnered up with big pharma, big tech, the government. Media is literally the 4th branch of the government. So they can fear us and steer us in any direction. They want you constantly in fight or flight with a destabilized country. So destabilize the country, we can go to one world government and be completely global, even though they talk about being eco. So the one way that you're not eco is going global. You want to go local. So that's, like I said, that's a whole different thing. But long story short, I went all the way around my ass to get to my elbow there. Long story short, they're dehumanizing groups of people, and we have to become very aware of that. And they're using it with labels, and they're using it with negativity. And I'm not sure that it's always so accurate. So, and we have to also consider the source of where these labels and where this dehumanization is coming from. So, because I know people who are lazy as fuck, and they're not all Gen Z. They come from every generation. So, including Gen Z. Yeah, somebody's like you're are you talking about your kids? Your kids have become reclusive. So, yeah, it's a thing. So, anyway, anyway, yeah, it's funny. Pogral, thank you. Never label others. We're not labels. Germany used to do that years ago. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. It's weird where when I grew up, we shunned labels. So nobody wanted labels. We just eschewed them across the board. And all of a sudden now people are embracing labels so hard they want to take them to Vegas and marry them. And I don't understand that. So to the point where people are their labels even on like their bio on their social media, like I am an autistic such and such and such. It's like, no, you're not. You're not. That's just a little part of who you are as a whole. If you are not your diagnosis. You are not this. You are not your sexuality. These are just little bits of who you are. So you're not your job. You're not who you want to have sex with. You're not your mental illness. You're not your diagnosis. You're not any of that fucking shit. You're just you. And people keep using these labels. You're not whether or not you want to be vaxxed or not. You're not whether or not you're not who you vote left or right. This is not you. Stop falling for it. Stop falling for it. And stop being offended when someone insults it. So, someone wants to insult Democrat or Republican. Who cares? That's not you. That's a party. It's not you. Stop taking it like, oh, this is me. It's not you. It's a label. Anyway, yes, Chowny Man, enough with the labels and treat others as human beings. I think that's the biggest thing. We need to get back to being human. Human. So that's one thing that the AI machines will never be able to do, to be human. So whether they surpass us or not, we can't lose our humanity. So let's try and stay human. So, and Dreadpool, welcome, welcome. We're actually cutting out early tonight, but yeah, be human. Be human, be aware of what's around you, pay attention, and, look around, smell the flowers. What is it? Henri Matisse said, there are flowers everywhere for those who want to see them. So, thank you for being here. We are live every Wednesday night, the A Show at 7 o'clock Eastern. You can find me on Real April Hunter on Instagram, April Hunter on Twitter, Patreon April Hunter. And I appreciate you so much, so much, so much, so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, by the way, I heard a joke the other way. I'm going to leave you with this. So, Guy was saying that everything is perspective. Everything's perspective, right? So, I have a friend, and he gets to read 2, maybe 3 books a week. He's living completely debt-free. He has numerous people who want to have sex with him all the time. And yet, he still always talks about how much he hates prison. Anyway, good night, everybody. Mwah. Have a great one.